Hello, I'm Novelette Witt with Morgen Real Estate. Today we have the pleasure of welcoming Torrance Fire Department Head Chief Martin Serna. Hello, Chief Serna. Thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me being interviewed and having the conversation.
I have a couple questions. The first came from actually a couple of friends of ours who are in the midst of building their home, and it has to do with cladding. And cladding, as you know, is it's a construction of material applied to create a layer of skin, which is used to provide a degree of thermal insulation and weather resistance, as well as to improve the appearance of a building. Is that right?
That is right.
A question has to do with the recent fires in London, the Grenfell fire, as well as the fires in France and Dubai. They were all linked to cladding used in the building materials. What safety measures has the city of Torrance taken to ensure that this is not repeated?
Yeah, excellent question. We're familiar with the fires and the devastation that occurred, especially in London, with the loss of life and the metal-clad buildings that were the contributing factors. In the state of California, especially here in Torrance, we do have what we call building codes and inspections, which are pretty rigorous. So anybody who's developing construction or putting plans forward to have construction that may include an ironclad or metal-clad type of construction goes through a rigorous review process through our Community Risk Reduction Division. Again, they look at how they apply to the California Fire Code to ensure that they stay within those guidelines and policies, and to ensure that they have the appropriate fire protection. So as far as ensuring that the appropriate review process is completed, our team over there in Community Risk Reduction is pretty well versed on the fire code and to ensure that buildings are safe.
Another issue that we have in Torrance and the South Bay area has to do with sort of an eyesore, the power lines throughout the city. Is Torrance having future plans to ensure placing high voltage wires underground?
Yeah, it is one of the strategic plans for the city. In fact, right here in front of the fire station, Station 1 here on Carson and Crenshaw, there is a infrastructure project that is pushing or putting high voltage lines underground. Mm-hmm. And I'd encourage you to go outside in front of the station so you can see some of the construction work and the accomplishments our Public Works Department has been able to complete. As you know, in Los Angeles County, we're an older community as opposed to some of the new communities like in Orange County and Riverside County, where the infrastructure, underground power lines are already placed underground. But I also would like to caution the community that irregardless of whether power lines are above ground or underground, if they witness any electrical lines exposed, to stay away and be cautious, because they are very dangerous, and to make sure you contact the fire department or the appropriate authority.
The other question I have has to do is more closer to home. So in the event of a fire, is it best to have your bedroom door closed when going to sleep or open?
Yeah, it's always a question that's been asked. It is extremely important to ensure that when you go to sleep at night, especially for your children, to close their doors. I have been on countless fires on both where doors have been opened and those that have been closed, and you would be surprised at the amount of fire and smoke that door can hold back into a room. Fire, room and content type fire in a home can range in temperature from 500 to 1,000 degrees. But when you keep your door closed, it could keep that room temperature down to about 100. And tragically, most fires that occur, people are hurt, or it ends up turning into a fatality due to smoke inhalation. So when we keep the door closed, we're able to keep some of those toxins out from any of those rooms.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with the community?
One of the things that I think is very important to the community to recognize and really be proud of, I know as a fire department and as a community, we recently completed what we call the accreditation process through the Standard of Public Safety Excellence. And what that's done, it's been able to allow us to measure internally our practices and procedures to ensure that they're meeting the standards of the profession. And we are one of 5 fire departments that have the distinction of calling ourselves an ISO 1, which is Insurance Service Office Class 1 rated fire department, which really focuses in on infrastructure. We've been a Class 1 fire department since 1996. This no added achievement is through the accreditation process, really measures how we operate as a fire department. Where the Class 1 organization, they kind of look at water, they look at how you staff and how you take in 911 calls or a communication center, where the accreditation process really gets down into the weeds of our operation to ensure that we're progressive and ensuring that all our policies and procedures are up to date, as I mentioned earlier, to the standards of the industry. And something that we should be very proud of. And we are one of 5 fire departments in the state of California that have the ability to call themselves a Class 1 fire department and an internationally accredited agency.
Thank you, Chief Serna, for taking the time to speak with us today. We really appreciate you having you here.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you around the community.